Okay, I think that it's crooked. Like, I think the frame is crooked, but I can't fix it because everybody's asleep and I can't see. And yeah, I'm kind of alone right now, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. So, hopefully, what I say is more important than how I look while I'm saying it, right? Right? I'm right. Okay, anyways, so first of all, I have myself a cup of tea. So it's probably a good idea for you to grab yourself a cup of tea too. Oh, and by the way, this cup, I have 4 similar cups like this, and I drew this whole design that's on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically one line that kind of forms into this maze looking design, and they're little stick figures doing different stuff on them, like as if there were mountains, walking, sitting, standing, running, I don't know, doing all sorts of weird stuff. Stick figures are definitely always a part of my artwork, if you didn't know that. Okay, anyways, so I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. I think it's just a bit of a random chit-chatty video. And first of all, I don't have a cold. I know that it sounds like I have a cold, but I don't. Today's Monday, and on Friday, so just a few days ago, I had a sinusitis operation, which basically means they went into my sinuses and scraped out and sucked out all of the gunk and mucus and the gross stuff that's inside that makes my head heavy. Yeah, they took that all out, but right after, definitely like the first few days in the first week is not fun. Like, there's blood, there's mucus, there's pain, and so yeah, it gets a little bit more inflamed before it gets better. So that's kind of the stage I'm at right now. I'm like at the inflamed part, so I'm still feeling, I actually feel like I have a cold, but I don't. It's just after the operation, just the effects of that, so nothing to worry about. But a cup of tea definitely helps. So yeah, anyways, this video is a bit of a random video, like I said, and I don't know if it's really an update either, because honestly I just have like stuff on my mind that I just want to talk about. And I just want this channel to be as real and as honest and as genuine as possible. So I thought, you know, it's more like a vlogish type of video, I guess. And I thought you could probably like get to know me a little bit better this way also. So I don't know, I just want to talk about stuff that has been on my mind recently, and I guess I have to kind of start a little bit like back in time, which for me is like, I'm sorry, I'm like getting notifications on my phone, so I'm like fixing it. But yeah, so I kind of have to start from last year. Like I said in my last video, which if you haven't checked it out, then you should check it out. I talked about my eyesight. It was a tough year, and like this year too has been really tough. Like, I can't even believe that we're already in December. Like, it's almost 2020, and I'm just like, I feel like it was just February. Like, this year went super fast. I don't know about you guys, but I felt it like it went super fast. But anyways, it's been up and down a lot, like a roller coaster. Not even like a roller coaster, like it's been going up and down, sideways, diagonally, like every direction possible. And what I'm mainly talking about is my health. It's definitely been not the best. have to be completely honest. And also, like, my physical health hasn't been good, and also my mental health has had some challenges, definitely starting from last year. And I know that it's definitely something that is built up over many years, which I guess it is for most people. And so I thought I would just talk a little bit about it. I don't think I'll go into many details, but I just want to talk like openly about it, and just let you guys know where I'm at right now. So basically, simply put, I fell into a very, very dark and deep depression last year, and it basically lasted the whole year until the beginning of this year. It was really, really bad. I was at the lowest point I've ever been in my life, and I even was admitted to the hospital for a while because of my mental health, and I also had to start on medication because of it, and I'm actually currently still on that medication. We tried like going down on it a little bit, but that didn't have very good effects for me. So I'm still on them. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like completely honest. I'm not gonna hide anything, because I just want, like I said, I want this channel to be a place where you can feel like a door is open for you to not feel alone, and just, yeah, it's okay to talk about things that are a little bit uncomfortable. In fact, it's important to talk about things that are uncomfortable. And so I hope that this channel can be a kind of a door for you into that part, and not be afraid of it, basically. Because I know for me, this in itself is a pretty big step. Like, I'm definitely guilty of like being very good at hiding what I really feel, or hiding certain parts of my life that I'm struggling with, even with the people that are closest to me, and also found it very difficult to ask for help and take help from other people. Yeah, I want to talk more about that now, but basically last year, probably the whole year, I would say I was in a really, really bad place. But at the same time, I did achieve like a lot of cool stuff. Like, I performed in so many different amazing occasions, and I even got like paid for the first time last year for performing. So I was like, what? And I also was able to exhibit my art, and I sold some of my art, which is like also what? So that was really, really exciting for me. And this was happening while I was really struggling with my mental health. So it was kind of like two sides of it. And these things definitely did help me get through whatever it was I needed to get through. But yeah, so like I said, like in the beginning of this year, I started to feel way, way better. We actually traveled to India, and we, like my mom and I and my dad, we did attend some weddings, which was so nice. I met so much of my family and my cousins, and it was really, really lovely. And I sang a lot and all this kind of stuff. Then, let's see, then I came home, and that's when my body decided to just protest, like really protest. So I got sick. Like, I started feeling like I had low calcium already when I was in India, like maybe a week or a little bit over a week while I was in India. And so I know these symptoms very well since I was a kid, because hypoparathyroidism is the first diagnosis that I got, which basically means my body has problems with absorbing calcium. So I knew the symptoms of low calcium very well, and I know them. Like, what I'm trying to say is I know the symptoms really well, so I know what to do, and the moment I feel them, I know what to do. And so I did everything that I know to do. Took extra calcium, drank extra milk, took extra rest, like did everything that I know. But it didn't seem to get better. So when I came home, I was actually really, really in bad shape. We waited a few days, and then I just seemed to get worse and worse. And I was almost like I was conscious, but I was very dazed. Like, I was very dazed. So it came to that point where it was like, okay, we need to go to the hospital. So I was admitted to the hospital for low calcium, and I got treatment for that. Then I came home, and then they gave me a treatment that was pretty strong. And so I ended up getting admitted to the hospital a second time because my calcium was too high. That was really bad because my kidneys took a beating from that. Another thing, I don't think I've talked about this before, but my kidney function has been deteriorating over the years. They're not 100% sure why it's happening. It's definitely a part of like the APS type 1 like picture, the list of diagnoses. Like, kidney failure is definitely one of them. But it's also like all the medication that I take and all the infections that I've been through, all the antibiotic treatments that I've had to go through, they definitely beat up the kidneys. They really do take a toll on the kidneys. So they're thinking that it has to do something with that. So basically my kidney function has been deteriorating a lot, especially this year. So yeah, I got admitted, and so they basically had to flush out my whole body because too much calcium in your body is poison, basically. So I was admitted for quite a while, and then I came home, and these kind of things really take a toll on the body. So I was feeling pretty weak and not good. And then I got admitted the third time because my calcium was low again. And actually this time I was, both my parents were traveling because they were having it was my mom's birthday and their wedding anniversary. So they had a nice trip, which I'm really happy they did. But yeah, so I was alone at home and ended up having to go to the hospital. But it was a really good experience because it had to happen someday. Like, my parents aren't gonna be there for me all the time. So I'm really happy that I had that experience. I learned a lot. So that was pretty cool. I mean, cool and not so cool, but it was okay. Sorry. Okay. I hope there's not like blood on my face now. I don't know. That would be so awful. Anyways, so that happened, and it took a while before like physically I was able to start building up my strength again, because I definitely became weak from all of this. And also my mental health kind of dipped a little bit, and yeah, it has not been an easy year. Like, it hasn't at all been an easy year. But one thing that is not really relevant to what I'm talking about, but like at the beginning of this year, I became an aunt. So my sister and my brother-in-law have a beautiful little daughter, and I'm so happy. Like, just having that role of being an aunt has definitely helped me a lot, and it's just magical. It's really, really magical when a new life is born into this world. So that's definitely one of the biggest highlights for me in the past time. And yeah, so that happened, and yeah, so in addition to all these things, like I've been singing, I've been drawing, I've been like doing all the things that I feel like I need to do to make myself feel useful, to make myself feel like I'm contributing with something, doing something, because I know myself very well. I know that it's very easy for me to fall into this negative thought spiral where I'm just like, I'm good for nothing, like I'm useless. All I do is lay around and ask for help and make people do stuff for me. Like, it's very easy for me to go into that thought process and feel really worthless and useless. And a lot of my depression came from that. Along with just, these are just like thoughts that I'm having currently now, so that's why I'm talking about it. But like also just the fact of feeling a bit tired of constantly having to adjust to my body, like having to adjust myself and who I want to be. Ramya as a person, I feel like I constantly have to adjust her to my illness and to my body and to my disabilities, which, okay, I will say it, a lot of disabled people and chronically ill people will say, no, my illness doesn't define me and it doesn't limit me and all this kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is that it does. Sometimes it actually does limit you. And okay, maybe it doesn't stop you from doing stuff, but it definitely alters the way you do it. Like, the way you have to do things is different. There's no way getting around it. You can't do things just like everybody else does them. And it can get a little bit frustrating sometimes, especially, like, I'm 21 years old now, and I feel like I'm young and like I have dreams, I have things to do, I have places to go, like I have a whole life in front of me, but I feel like these things keep bogging me down and I just kind of get stuck and I feel very behind. And it's almost like I get one health issue and then it's like I'm trying to get over it, and then the moment I start feeling like, okay, I can deal with this, like I'm fine, I'm getting better, something else happens, and then it's like the whole process again, like adjusting my mindset and being like, okay, now this happened, so this and this and this is what I have to do to make this better. And like this process is just like never ending, and I felt like my depression really kind of sparked from these thoughts and feelings in particular. I need some tea. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but like what I said, like the feeling of having to adjust yourself, your life, who you want to be, to your body, basically. Because like I often feel, I know I shouldn't think like that, but I do, like I just do, okay? I often think that if I hadn't had any of these health issues, or at least fewer of these health issues, I'd probably be like completely uncontrollable and like been doing so many things at once and like been traveling everywhere, doing art, performing, writing, climbing, hiking, writing, like I probably do everything that came to mind. Like, so in one way I'm like, okay, maybe this illness has kind of slowed me down, which has in turn like given a positive effect for me, so that I don't like overdrive myself and do too many things at the same time, which is also not like the best thing to do. But at the same time, I feel like I don't get to like be truly myself, and I don't feel like I get to reach my full potential. Like even in school, I know that I can do so much better, but because I'm away from school so much, and because I have pain, because I have like all these like other stuff that make me extra tired, I'm not able to focus as well as I could have, and maybe I'm not able to remember things as well as I could have, and so I feel like I know I can do so much better in this, but I'm just not able to. And so I feel like I always have to kind of almost settle for less, or like yeah, kind of reduce my standards for myself, just so that I don't feel completely defeated, because it's so easy for me to feel like I should have done so much better than that. Like, you know, I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but let me know in the comments if you if you relate to anything of what I'm saying right now. But so yeah, those are kind of the stuff that has been going on in my mind, and now like with my kidney function has been really deteriorating in a fast rate. I actually made a vlog, which I'm gonna post as soon as possible, where I went to this course with my mom, and they were basically talking about how, like, when it comes to that stage where you have to either have a transplantation or dialysis, or, you know, either one of those or waiting for the other one, they were basically talking about like the process, how it would be, how it would feel, the medicines, yeah, just like all the practical stuff and everything like that. There was actually a second part, but I wasn't able to go. It was actually today, but I was not feeling well enough to do that because I'm still like kind of weak and kind of funny after that procedure on Friday, so I wasn't able to make it to the second part. But I did go to the first part, and I vlogged a little bit about it because I thought it would be interesting to just like kind of document my thoughts and feelings initially at that time. So stay tuned for that video, it's gonna come soon. But yeah, it's really scary, and if you've seen my other video, then you also know like my eyesight is also one huge thing that's been occupying a lot of my thoughts, and it's also very scary. Now I was gonna say something, I forgot. Maybe I need some more tea so I can remember. Yeah, so another thing, I don't know if it's that relevant to talk about, but like I've been having, okay, first of all, I think I need to apologize a little bit because I think this video might be me just complaining, but that's not the point of the video. Like I said, it's just so that I can be open and honest with you guys. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that, because that's not gonna help me. But I do want to know if anybody has any experience with anything that I'm talking about. I would be really, really happy if you'd comment and tell me about that. But anyways, yeah, so the past few years I've been having a lot of stomach issues. So basically I've been bloated, like really bloated. Like my stomach has been protruding out almost like I'm pregnant. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's really, really big. My tummy is really big. And it's been like continuously bloated for so long. And so I had a gastroscopy done actually last year, and they didn't really find anything. And I complained to my doctor again this year and said like, okay, we'll check it again. And I've also been having like a lot of acid. So I started on some medication for that now. But I'm mentioning it because I was admitted to the hospital to get a gastroscopy done. And now, if you don't know who I am, then you probably should watch some of my other videos. But I have something that has Addison's disease. No, I have something that is called Addison's disease. Which basically means I don't produce enough cortisol in my body, which is a stress hormone that makes sure that we can tackle any kind of stress that happens to our physical body. And a gastroscopy is pretty invasive. Like if you're going into the body, you know, probably taking a biopsy of some sort. And so that's a stress on the body. And so it's important in those situations that you externally give extra cortisol. And so I trusted the doctors. I trusted that they knew that this was the case and they had to do every precaution that was necessary. But unfortunately, they ended up not giving me enough prior to the procedure. So when I went in, my body basically went into shock while they were doing the investigation. So that really sucked. So they were like, okay, sorry about that. So they had to stop in the middle and like readmit me another time and put me under general anesthesia just to be able to finish the whole investigation because my body went into shock. Okay, so it went into shock, and it's just, the reason why I'm mentioning it is just because sometimes it feels like a lot of responsibility, you know, to have to constantly remind and remember like people that should know, like they should have known, like it's written in my journal and everything. They should have known, but at the same time it's still my responsibility to kind of remind them about it and make sure that I get what I need to get, because it's not their body, it's mine, it's my life, it's going to affect me and nobody else. And so I still feel like I have that big sense of responsibility, and in one way, like there's not a moment in life where I get to take a holiday from my health. Like I'm constantly thinking about it, whether it's my diabetes or my pain or my eyes or my tiredness or just any of the stuff. Like it's constantly on my mind. There is no break, there's no holiday, there's no vacation. And I'm sure any other chronically ill person understands what that means and how that feels. And it can just be so frustrating sometimes when you just feel like you're constantly just running after it and trying to keep everything in balance, take all your medicines, rest according to what your body is telling you that you need, like do everything that you know that you have to do, and still something can go wrong, and still something out of your control can happen. And then it's like all of this good work can be gone in just such a short time. And that's what I felt like in the beginning of this year too, when I was admitted to the hospital. That was the thing that sucked the most, because like I felt like I was really feeling so much more better. Like I was being more active, I was doing more yoga, I was doing meditation, I was writing, I was journaling, I was singing, I was drawing, I was doing so many amazing stuff, and I was feeling so good. And I was like, yeah, like now I found myself, like now I can truly be who I want to be, and I'm starting to feel better. And then my calcium drops, and like there's nothing that I did that could have caused that to happen. Like I did everything that I should have been doing, and it was not my fault. And it's so easy for me to kind of like say, what did I do wrong? That's like the first question I always ask myself. What did I do wrong? Like, cause I always feel like it's my responsibility. It's always something that I did, I should have done, or I did, or it's just, you know, it's my fault in some way. But sometimes things just happen out of our control. And so that's like the one thing that really sucked. I know that like this video is going all over the place. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But I just I think my head is a little bit like everywhere right now. But you know, like I said, I would be so happy and appreciative if you would like talk to me about it and start a conversation in the comment section. And okay, there's one more thing that I kind of want to talk about, but at the same time I'm a little bit afraid to talk about, because like it sounds really awful, but at the same time it's a really genuine feeling and emotion and thought that I'm going through right now, and I just kind of want to be as open as possible with you. So I'm just gonna try to explain what's going through my head right now. But as you guys probably like already gathered from my previous video and from this whole video up till now, if you made it this far, thank you. I don't think people are that interested in my whole life story, but anyways, I think a lot of people can relate to this though. The fact of getting help and asking for help and not being afraid of taking the help. That's something that I'm really struggling with right now for some reason. And it's kind of strange because I've always needed help since I was a kid, like because I've always been visually impaired and I've always been ill in some way, so I've always like needed help, I always needed assistance. But for some reason, the past time, especially the past few years and this year specifically, I've just really been struggling with that concept of like needing help for a lot of things. And it's really frustrating because on one hand it's like I need the help, and I know that there's nothing wrong in getting help and having the help, you know, but then there's another part of me that just really just really dislikes it. Like, just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's just small things, like just wanting to paint my nails. I can't do it on my own, and it's just, sometimes I feel like it's so silly to ask somebody for help to do such a superficial, stupid little thing. Like, it feels so unnecessary almost. To ask somebody to help me with my nails. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but like, it just seems I'm not really able to articulate what I'm trying to say very well, but sometimes I think it kind of wraps into that feeling, which again, I think a lot of chronically ill and disabled people will relate to, that feeling of being a burden. It's just a feeling, and people can say 100 times over and over again that no, that's not true. You're not a burden. You know, you're valuable. You also give back in some way. It's just a feeling. At least I can speak for myself personally. That's just something I've struggled with for a long time, and I've probably told myself that I'm a burden too many times that it's become a truth in my head. And so that really kind of makes it hard then to ask for help and to take the help without feeling guilty or feeling like that's unnecessary, or like, ugh, I'm asking for too much, or, you know, like, it's not that important, you know, like, why do you need your nails done? Like, that's not so important. It's more important that you get your food right. And I'm still struggling with like just trying to be unapologetically me. I'm just trying to be really, really honest right now, because like, I know like my channel and everything is based on this, like, it's called Actually-Ican, and it's basically to empower each other, right? It's to make everybody feel like they can do something, they can contribute with something, they can be a full member of society. That's what Actually-Ican is all about. But I'm just trying to like be honest with some things that I think a lot of us go through. Even people without disabilities or a chronic illness, they also do feel it difficult to ask for help and take help. And I think this is something everybody can relate to. I'm not gonna sit here and like try to give advice, because I haven't figured out how to manage that thought process yet. This video is just to like give you an idea of how I feel right now and what's going through my mind. And so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But like, just let me know, you know, I'm trying to open up conversation here. So just let me know if you relate to anything that I'm saying, because it will be really, really interesting, because when we talk about it, when we're open with each other, that definitely helps, because we can learn from each other. And yeah, it's always healthy to communicate anything. So that being said, like, this video was pretty negative, I know. I think my last video was pretty negative too. But you know, that's just where I'm at right now. And at the end of it all, like, I know for sure that all of these things, both positive and negatives, they're all temporary. Everything in life is temporary. It's not gonna last forever. I'm not gonna be feeling like this forever. Whether it's a mental thing or a physical thing, it's not gonna last forever. And I feel like that's the only thought right now that's kind of keeping me going. It's like, okay, I know I feel like crap right now, but it's not gonna feel like this forever. And I just take each moment at a time, each hour at a time, each day at a time. And that is what helps me. And another thing that really does help me, which is just a purely practical thing, is, you probably heard it 100 times, but meditation and mindfulness definitely helped me a lot to just stop thinking about the past and stop thinking about the future and just be here right now in this moment and just enjoy it, or not enjoy it, but just be here and be present. That really helps to just kind of stop this pattern or this negative spiral that you might have. Is it just pauses it, and it lets you observe what's going on in your mind instead of hooking on to everything and getting dragged along with everything that's going on in your mind, which is so easy to do. And I don't blame anybody who does that or is in that place of just getting stuck with all of this things and feelings and emotions and thoughts, because I do it all the time. But I just want to remind you that it's possible to take a step back, to take a minute and just observe and let go. And not to say that you shouldn't have, like, you should have both negative and positive things, because if we don't have them both, we wouldn't know. Like, if we wouldn't feel sad, we would never feel happy. So of course we need to be sad sometimes so we can feel happy. Like, that's just how life is. We need these contrasts. So I'm not saying that you should only think positive and just always be happy and smile all the time, because obviously I'm not, like this video. But yeah, I just want you to, I think what I'm trying to say is that the thing that helped me the most is just being self-aware. And I feel like actually going through this depression really helped me with that. Helped me kind of discover new parts of myself and new sides of myself that I never knew that I had. Like, I feel like a depression, when you go through such a deep and dark depression, it's kind of like, it's a huge learning curve about yourself, because you're forced to dive into every part of yourself, all these uncomfortable parts and comfortable parts, but you're just forced to go everywhere and explore everything about yourself. And for me, I felt like it was a huge learning curve, and I became so much more self-aware. So I'm actually really grateful that I had been through that, and I guess I'm kind of still going through that. I have to be completely honest. Like, on a daily basis, I'm still struggling with some really heavy thoughts and then really heavy emotions and feelings. But it has really taught me to be self-aware. And being self-aware makes it so much easier to then take a step back and observe and not necessarily have to change the way you think right away, but just at least be aware of your patterns. What, in a certain situation, this is what happens for me, this is what triggers me, this is what makes me happy, this is what makes me angry. Like, all these kind of things, just being aware of them really helps. So yeah, basically the conclusion of this video is just I give you a little bit of an update of what's been going on with me right now, and I hope you found it interesting enough, and I'll talk to you a little bit about like my depression, and then just trying to open the doors for you to be open about it, talk about it, don't be ashamed, just don't bottle it up all inside, because it's not gonna help you. It's really not gonna help you. In fact, it's actually gonna hurt you. And the last thing is just be self-aware, and it can be as simple as just observing your breath and just start from there. Like what I do when I find it very, very difficult to like sit down for like 10 minutes or whatever, I don't know for how long I do it, but if I find it very difficult, I just try to take at least 3 times per day. I take a minute to pause, and I take 3 deep breaths, and I don't focus on anything else but my breath, and it really, really helps. So that's one tip for you. And another thing is also journaling has been very, very helpful for me. Now, because of my eyesight, it's been very difficult the past few months, so I haven't really been journaling a lot. But if you have your eyesight, and if you have the ability and the chance, and you know you can do it, then do it. So yeah, I think I've talked for like a really long time now, and I think I need to sleep, and I need to take my last medication and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna post this video now. I don't want to wait. I want this to be fresh and raw. So as always, if you want to see more of me, then please subscribe and like this video, because that makes me really, really happy. And of course, like I said many times throughout this video, I would love it if you would, comment, start a conversation, let me know what your experiences are, tell me if you relate to anything that I'm going through, and yeah, I don't think I have much more on my mind right now. I had a lot on my mind, okay? But yeah, so, oh, by the way, I kind of played with makeup today. I don't know if you can even see it in this light, but like, I was pretty happy with it. But then I discovered, or not discovered, but I remembered that like after the sinuses procedure, you have to like rinse your nose 3 to 4 times a day with salt water. And that's a messy business, okay? And so I was like, oh man, like I did this beautiful makeup look and it was spoiled because I had to rinse my nose. But I don't know, at least my eye makeup is still there. I don't know, or maybe it's not, who knows, I have no idea. But anyways, I'm gonna say goodnight actually, and I'm sending you all of my love from the bottom of my heart, and you'll see me in my next video, which hopefully will be not so long away too. Okay, bye.